Hello, Sangha. I am Sister Minbao, and I am here today to give a talk, to give a Dharma talk. And today, the subject is to save someone from watching my video all the way through. That just cracked me up. Is Buddha nature? Um, I'd like to talk about what that is and what that means for us. You've heard it before, I'm sure, that everyone has Buddha nature and that you have Buddha nature. And what does that mean? Does that mean, is it something we achieve? Is it something we're born with? Is it some magical power that we need to tap into? And when I think about that and meditate about that, I remember that the Buddha himself, he was born at a time when Hinduism was the main religion in his area. And so, which is very different from Buddhism, right? So you have all of the gods, and depending on what part of God, of Vishnu or whatever that you were born from, that's your caste. So if you're born from the head, you belong into this caste. If you're born from the feet, you belong to this caste. And there's no way of changing your caste. So you are what you're born into, what your life state will be. And when he came, Jack, when he became old enough to understand this, which was pretty young, he was a pretty bright guy, um, he didn't understand it because he didn't see people as being different. He didn't see that this high caste person was different from this low caste person, and he didn't see that difference and didn't understand it. Um, there are scholars have talked about why, like he was he just an enlightened man who was different from everyone else around? Um, maybe, yeah. Maybe he was um, just one of those really bright prodigy boys, and he didn't want to play at the festival. He wanted to sit under the tree and think. But there's also the theory that he was born in a borderland. His kingdom, where he was born as the prince of the kingdom, there is on the border. So he was exposed to other religions and other cultural beliefs as they came through. His father was the king of that area, so he was around a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds and that weren't necessarily Hindu. So he was exposed to a lot, and he grew up in this privileged way, seeing this and not seeing any difference between people. And that's why when he started noticing as he got older, this was before he discovered that people were suffering, he was just observing. Then, as he got older and started seeing death and disease and illness, he his focus is on trying to get rid of that. How do you not suffer through life? How do you get through this life and not suffer? I'm just changing my view. I'm looking at myself. Okay, now I'm looking at you. Uh, so, of course, he goes off and does his thing. He tries starvation in a cave. He tries the indulgence from the palace to the starvation in a cave, and none of it really gives him any insight um, until he is basically emaciated and dying in the woods in the forest. And then this is when the little girl finds him. And we know this story that she finds him and gives him some milk and brings him back to life. And then he is able to realize that he doesn't need to go to these extremes, but he doesn't know what he needs to do. So he just sits down under a tree and meditates for a while and figures this out. So he was someone special, but he was also not. He's also just a regular guy who just really wanted to figure this out. Didn't quite believe in the propaganda that was being told to him about the government and about how things work. He'd seen all these other cultures, these other races, these other religions, and he didn't see that one was better than the other. So when his first students were children, came into the forest to see him, see this strange man who was underneath the trees. because children's minds are a little more open, I think. They came to him and he started working on his teachings with children. And so one of the first children who came to him was the water boy, the boy who took the yaks out, the oxen out to the water, and he was of an untouchable caste. So the little girl that was with him was a princess, but the boy was an untouchable. And he brought them together, and it was an experience for everybody, that little trio. And I just imagine it, you've been raised your whole life that this person is bad, and even to touch them means that they get beaten up because for touching you, even if you brush up against them. And then the higher caste has to go into this week-long cleansing phase. And here they are sitting next to each other under a tree. And probably my favorite tale of that era is when they all share rice and they all share a cup of water and they're all touching the same bowls or drinking out of the same cup. And it's enlightening for everyone. We hear mostly about the little princess and the boys' views, and it's enlightening for both. Both of them are hesitant for different reasons, but it's all because they've had this belief that we are all different and that some people are just better than others by virtue of their birth. Well, Buddha didn't ever buy into that. And as he moved on in his journey and started teaching and started traveling, and people started, men started leaving their homes and following along with him, he really refined that. And whether he ever used a term that meant Buddha nature, he didn't. He started calling himself the Buddha much later. Just means the enlightened one. Um, he, from a very early point, he knew that everybody had the ability inside themselves to have this nature, which, if it means to emulate the Buddha or to be like the Buddha, I think what it means is that we let go of our prejudices. We let go of the idea that we are different, that the person on the other side of the line throwing tear gas while I'm shouting obscenities, that we are not different. One is not better than the other. We're walking different paths, we're thinking different thoughts, but inside we have the nature to let that go and to find a way back to peace. I really liked our question this morning, our check-in question on how do we focus when we're on the cushion. It's kind of like that. We get distracted with all these things coming at us, and that these people are different than us, and these people are worse than us, and these people are, can we let go of that? Can we refocus, bring ourselves back to our breath, bring ourselves back to our heart? And can we help these people? Is there anything we can do to make someone else's life and have less suffering in it? And that is what we have committed ourselves to. And that's often what's referred to. That's one of the things that's referred to as your Buddha nature, is that you are letting go of your own inner prejudices and you are open, even though there's danger around, there's people that may want to hurt you. And there was for the Buddha too. Okay, there were people that wanted him out of the, because he was a heretic, he was a rebel. He was not going along with the plan, but he never picked up arms and went to war. He just talked his talk, and people really resonated with it. So if someone says, well, yeah, there's Buddha nature in you, that's one way of thinking about it. And when we think about it that way, we can give ourselves some love and some grace. All of us have forgotten our Buddha nature at some point in our life. Even the Buddha had many people come to him. And one of them that came to him was a serial killer. And he was known throughout the land. He was a horrific person at the time, and he was killing a bunch of people and collecting their bones. And he was fled into the woods, and he ran into Buddha. And he sat down, and while Buddha was teaching, he listened to the teaching, and he saw these peaceful people, and he sort of fell into meditation, and he fell into it, and it really resonated with him. And then when the authorities finally tracked him in there, they asked to be brought to the Buddha, and they were. and they said they were looking for a murderer. And is he here? And the Buddha looks out at everyone seated meditating and said, I don't see a murderer here. Now, what was he referring to? Was he hiding the man? No, Buddha was being honest. This man had found his Buddha nature. He had let go. He had caused a lot of suffering, but he had let go of that. He'd found his center. He brought himself back. He was sitting there meditating. And what Buddha meant was that in this moment, there's no murderer here. So we have the ability, all we have is this moment, which Tuan is so good about he explains it so well that this moment is always here. It's eternal. We don't have what we just did, and we don't have what's going to happen. We have no idea. All we have is right now. And it's so precious that if you make choices right now to love yourself, to love others, to be open, to let go of hate, to let go of anger, to let go of hanging on to things, if you just be open and be present, accept the present, and act within the present moment, that's Buddha nature arising in you. That's you're not causing any more suffering in the world. You are actually, and it's a good feeling. I think all of us have felt it. It's just really good. It goes beyond the feeling of, oh, I just helped someone, that makes me feel good, because that's true too. But it goes beyond that. It's a peace. It's a sort of peace knowing that I will always be there. At least in this moment, I believe that I will be there for someone who needs me. And I will be there for myself. Maybe I don't have the spoons to get out there and help anybody, but I can help myself. How do I relieve my own suffering? Because as the Buddha said, you can walk the entire world and not find anyone more worthy of your love than yourself. So we all have this Buddha nature. It's not a magical, it's not magical properties or any sort of special thing you're born with. It's not like some are born with it and some are not. The Buddha has taught us that we all bleed the same. We all inside are the same. There's nothing special about any of us except everything. We are all special, and we all have this ability to feel this compassion rise up in us. And it's hard to describe the feeling, but I know that you've probably felt it at some point, where you're not angry anymore. And there's nobody in the world that you hate. There are people in the world that need your help, that need support, but especially yourself. So if you've been a mass murderer collecting people's finger bones and wearing them around your neck, put them down and sit down on the cushion. Find your way to focus. If you can't find your way to focus, just sit there and breathe and keep telling yourself, here, here, come back to here. And you will find your Buddha nature inside of you. Or someone else will see it and point it out. Maybe you won't even know what you did, but someone will be so grateful for your presence. I get that a lot, and I have no idea what I did. But I nod wisely, like, yes, I understand. But I don't understand. I'm just there. I'm just there without any thoughts or prejudices or agenda. So in this time space, and in this time, if we can think of it like that, I am here with no agenda, no hate, and I'm open. I'm open and I'm ready for whatever's going to happen. And I'm open with love. And I love this person in front of me, whether I know them or not. That's Buddha nature. That's what Buddha kind of was. He kind of was bent that way when he was born, but that's also through his observations and his long, long hard work meditating what he discovered for us. And so I hope that you all find ways to be open and to be present and feel that Buddha nature inside of you. And don't cling to the feeling either, because those are the people that are like, look at how great I am. I'm helping, that's, I'm going to be the big helper. And it becomes an identity. It's not an identity. It's just is. We are all Buddha nature. We've just covered it in layers of stuff. So if we uncover those layers, and just let it shine out of you like a light. And you will attract people who need you. You will. It never fails. It's weird. People will come to you, they will email you, they will text you, they will stop you in the street. Little old lady in the grocery store held my hand for a while. I never knew why. But that's your Buddha nature. It shines through and people see it. So I hope you enjoyed my little talk. And we are going to go into meditation so that we can let that light shine. And it's okay if nothing happens in meditation, if you don't see rainbows and unicorns. Just keep telling yourself, here, here, in your mind. And if your mind goes off and you find yourself planning dinner tonight, once you realize it, just say, here. Everyone does it, even monks. We all do it. And so just bring yourself back to the present moment, even if that's all you do for the entire time of meditation. You're doing the work, you're tapping into your Buddha nature, and the more that you can tap into that, the more easy it becomes. Right. I love you all, and I will mind the time.